Working smarter, not harder. Welcome to Seeking God with Leah Klein, Health and Wholeness Coach. And our verse for today is 2 Corinthians 9:8. And God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that having all sufficiency in all things at all times, you may abound in every good work. Are you working harder and harder? Are you burning the candle at both ends? And assuming you're not going to get burned in the process. It doesn't work. I've been there. It does not work. And you will notice from our verse that working for God is actually an end result. It's not where we start. We get filled up with God's grace and His provision is supplying our needs, sufficiency of all things at all times, and letting Him then do the work through us, which means we are far more likely to do what He's wanting us to do instead of our own ideas of what we should be doing. And also that we are not doing it out of an energy of feeling like we need to pay Him back. Because, honestly, that is impossible. We could not possibly pay Him back for all that He has given to us. So that's not really the motivation for doing it. It's more of doing God's work in His way, with Him working through us, doing what He wants you to be doing, and not just what you think you should be doing, which unfortunately can be two completely separate things. And so frequently what I find, and what I've done myself at times, is we keep packing on new things and then not frequently, not asking God first before we actually make a decision, and then wondering why we're getting burned out and don't have enough time. Generally, it's because there were some things that we should have said no to in the first place. We can't be all things to all people. We are finite. That's God's job. He can be in 20,000 places at once. You cannot. So it's a matter of, in part, knowing your limitations and connecting with God in a way that you will actually hear Him tell you, no, don't go in that direction. Or you will be feeling in your spirit a sense of peace about doing something and seeing Him work in your circumstances, and your things come together in ways that you're like, okay, that was a God thing. I could not possibly have arranged that if I tried. That's frequently a sign that is God working through you in ways that you could not possibly have done on your own. So part of it is you want to be working with Him, because that's when things happen. That's when the exciting stuff is, that you're like, this is so cool. If you're trying to muscle through it on your own, you're not going to be getting that sense of, accomplishment fully out of it. You might get some sense, but you'll also be too tired to appreciate it. But, it's like when God is working why would we want to not work with him? I mean, that is the easiest path to take instead of trying to do things. And lots of times we are well-meaning. We think this is a good work. We should be involved in it. And you have to go and talk to God about it and go, okay, you have given me so much resources and time, energy. What do you want me to do with that? Is this something you want me to spend time, energy, money, whatever it is on? And lots of times there's something that we can contribute to that we just do not have bandwidth to take on helping ourselves. So thank God for his grace that we can never repay, and ask what he wants you to do with him working through you. So if you're having trouble hearing God, let me show you why and how to connect more deeply. I have a free gift at healthturnaroundcoaching.com/seeking-God. And I'll put the link in the show notes and in the email that goes out for this video. Check out my book, Seeking God, Becoming Mary in a Martha World, and use it as a tool to connect more deeply with God. And if you want to go even more deeply than that, reach out to me and I'd be happy to talk. Now, to wrap up our time, I figured since we were talking about grace, it would be entirely appropriate to do Amazing Grace. I may not do all of, 5-6 verses? We might just do a few of them. You probably know it, so I do expect you to sing along. Probably nobody's listening to you right now, so sing out anyway. And if you haven't heard it before, feel free to just listen. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. And I will see you next week with another verse. See you then.